What's up, Shamus? Welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite decks of all time, actually, is Blue Eyes Chaos Max. So yeah, we're going to go a little bit under the radar today in the Rogue category, and we're going to profile this super fun deck with some new techs that actually make the deck a lot more consistently able to OTK your opponent. So let's get right into it. So first, we're going to run Triple Chaos Max, obviously. This card is basically an OTKing Dragoon. It's really good. Yeah, double piercing on defense position monsters with some combos. This card just becomes an absolute destructive force that is super hard to deal with. And usually you're gaming them. Game like if you're going second, you're gaming them just because it's so super easy to do. Then we go for the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. Just one copy of this card, just because, like, if you want to see its, I feel like its first effect, it has the same effect as Dragoon, where it is basically untargetable and cannot be destroyed by card effects. But its second effect does come up. Not enough to run 2 or 3, but it does come up enough to run 1, just because it's searchable. Yeah, so basically this card will make your OTK really easy with Chaos Max, because you can just summon out this guy, and then make them turn them defense position, make them 0 defense, and then cast max swing for game. Yeah, so there's a little combination that works really well. Again, Chaos Dragon's not necessary, but I still do like it in the deck. Then we go for triple Blue Eyes White Dragon. This is very explanatory. You need to run 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon in a Blue Eyes deck, just for consistency reasons too. It's not even a brick because it helps you summon out everything else. Yeah, so 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon, pretty self-explanatory over there. Now for double Manju. This might be a little bit of a weird one for you guys, but the only reason we're not running 3 is because we have to prioritize a different normal summon. Like, if we see Manju or Corruptor Ibli in hand, we're going to force the Ibli. But yes, Manju is still really good. It's just not good enough to run at 3 right now because we don't want conflicting normal summons. That is a really bad thing I don't like in decks. If they have conflicting normal summons, it just seems a little bit inconsistent and bricky. But yeah, so double Manju, it's been working really good. I don't really miss the third copy. I wouldn't even miss like this card in the deck, but I think it's still good enough to run it too, just because it searches out your stuff. Next, we go triple Chalice Line. This card just searches out basically the ability to grab your Chaos Max, your Chaos Dragon, or one of your ritual spells. But yeah, this card's really solid. Just getting access to Candle Talis Mantra really fast. And yeah, so going on with the incantation package, we go triple Candle, triple Talis Mantra. Talis Mantra, you reveal the ritual monster, special amount Candle, Candle, reveal the ritual spell, special amount Talis Mantra. So yeah, this guy will basically search the ritual spell from deck if it's special summoned, and this guy will search the ritual monster from deck. So really good. And yeah, they have like great utility in this deck. They do a lot for the deck, and I just seen like there's no better ritual package than the incantations. Nothing does more than the incantations just because of how consistent these guys are. But yeah, they're really standard at 3/3. I don't like Bookstone and I don't like the other one. They don't do too much. These guys are just the best ones to run and the only ones that we realistically should be running. Next we go for triple Corruptor Ibli. Oh yeah, so this is a new spice in the deck. It's been running around a little in some of these builds. Basically, if you don't know what Ibli does, Ibli, when it's linked off, you can special summon it to your opponent's side of the field in defense position, and if you can see, it has 0 defense. Yeah, so this card's fantastic. Does so much for the deck, and yeah, so it's like it's just really good, and it also really hurts Virtual World. This card is really good against Virtual World. Going first, if you can set up the ability to stop them from getting rid of it. The only way they will be able to get rid of it in a very clean manner is by tributing over it with something like Lili, Lao Lao, or even the new card from Blazing Vortex, level 6. Yeah, so if they tribute over it, then obviously that's a quick out. But otherwise, if they don't have access to those cards, this card is really destructive against them. Moving forward, we have triple Signet Mining. This card is obviously Search Ibli just because we want to go all in on this package. It's really good and it's really worth it. It gives so much utility. And Signet Mining is also like just a really good card in general. Also baits hand traps for some of our stuff later, for allowing our incantations to go through. This card is really busted. Moving on to our like best spell, if you want to call it that, we go triple Pot of Extravagance. This is our consistency card, and it's still infinitely better in OTK decks than Pot of Prosperity, obviously, because you don't want that half attack. Even though Pot of Prosperity is mathematically better to run for seeing your cards, Extravagance is just simply a better card in these decks because you're not even ever using an effect to draw regardless. So yeah, Pot of Extravagance, really good card, and it has a lot of synergy with the deck, obviously, and giving you access to pretty much a whole engine for free. It's just really good, and I believe it's a mandatory card. If you don't have access to Pot of Extravagance, one really quick swap out for this card that actually works fantastic is Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires in this deck is extremely good just because we run nearly everything at 3. If you were running Desires though, I will bump up some ratios. Like for example, I'd probably bump up Chaos Dragon to 2, and work with some ratios like that because you are risking the fact that you can just completely get rid of it. Um, but yeah, 1 is still fine. You can still run, like you can still just quick swap out triple desires, and this list would still be fine. But Extravagance is the optimal card for this list. Next, moving on, we have Triple Melody, the Awakening Dragon. This card just gives you really free access to Chaos Max and Blue Eyes White Dragon. If you have a Chaos form in hand, that just Chaos form and Melody just give you instant access to a Chaos Max and potentially a game. Yeah, so Melody's really fantastic. Next, moving on, we have Double Big Machine Go. Big Machine Go is a really solid card. It searches out pretty much most of your stuff that you really want to see in hand. Like for example, you're gonna be able to see your Chaos Maxes really consistently, and also your Blue Eyes White Dragon if you really need it. Most of the time, you're gonna be using it to search out Chaos Max though. But yeah, so double Big Machine Go because it really doesn't search anything else other than that. But for what it does, it's really strong, and it does its thing efficiently. Yeah, so double Big Machine Go. Moving on to double Chaos Form. Chaos Form is just the standard cards. You still have to run 2 because you still need that extra amount of ritual spell, but it is very much weaker than Advanced Ritual Warp. This card is ridiculously busted, and it's just insane, really. This card is used to ritual summon any one ritual monster. You must also send normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard whose total levels equal the level of that ritual monster. And if you can piece it together, this card can just dump a blue eyes from deck to grave and then just give you a free Chaos Max. This card's super good. It's the best ritual spell. One of the best ritual spells in the game, actually. It's just really good. Yeah, it's like the Red Eyes fusion of ritual spells, so really solid. And then lastly, the one of the most like necessary cards in the game right now, Triple Forbidden Droplet. Droplet's ridiculous. It does too much right now, way too much. I know it's pricey, but if you can get it in this deck, it will really help you. I mean, for the most part, if you can get in any deck, it will help you. But yeah, Droplet at 3 is really good. Again, same with Pot of Extravagance. This is the optimal choice, but some swap outs. If you have Imperms, you can use Imperm because it is a hand trap. And if you have Forbidden Chalice, that is also a really good card you can use. Forbidden Chalice is super cheap right now, and in some occasions I do prefer it over Imperm as you can still use, for example, let's say they have VFD. You can still normal summon your Manju, and they chain VFD to it. You can chain your Chalice even though you have a monster on field, whereas Imperm would be rendered useless. But that's where Droplet is just the best card out of that scenario because it just makes it so they won't be able to negate it. It's really good. And yeah, Droplet at 3 I think is necessary in this deck. Again, no Droplet. I probably recommend a Imperm or Chalice next. Anyways, moving on to the extra deck. We got one Cross Sheep, double Phoenix, double Unicorn, double Cerberus, and triple Omrage. Now let's break this down. Cross Sheep, you're very rarely ever going to summon this, but when you do summon it, you can just get that free draw 2, then discard 2. So it's still pretty good, but I do only run 1 because it's still very easily banish fodder for the most part. Then we go double Nightmare Phoenix. This card is just obvious. They set up a floodgate you need to put an end to. Just Phoenix it. Unicorn, same thing. It's basically just spot removal for most of the cards in the game right now. For example, very good out for access code because this deck will have an inherently difficult time outing access code unless you can bring out Galaxy S Photon Lord. But yeah, so having the unicorn is really nice, and also having that Cerberus is really nice because it does the same thing. Yeah, Cerberus I think is still really necessary. I think people sleep on this card too much, but it's still very good. Then we go Triple Alm Rush. Obviously we want to run Triple Alm Rush because we don't want to run the risk of banishing it at all. So our Nightmare Corruptor Iblis live. I think I'm really banking on the fact that you see this with the ability to summon Chaos Max or going first, just ending on a Chaos Max with a Corruptor Iblis on their board because it is a little bit rough sometimes. Then for the XYZs, I run double number 38, double number 90, and one Zeus. So again, with this card, this is obviously the best one. It's a quick spell negate. Right now in this format, it's probably not the best. Number 90 is really good right now. Yeah, this card really solid. Just on feet monster negate. But yeah, if you're trying to go for Zeus, I do recommend probably going Hope, like ending on Hope Harbinger. You can collect a spell. If you are able to throw Zeus on top of that, then you have a four material Zeus, right? Because this card doesn't detach negate. This card absorbs, which is really strong. Yeah. So for the most part, that's it for the deck profile. Some cards that you can run in this deck are cards like Shien's Dojo. Let me just search it up for you guys. Not Shien's Dojo. It's the card that will swap basically a monster on board. So a monster you control to their field. Yeah, it's really solid. She Spy, sorry guys. So yeah, so this card basically target one face a monster you control, give it to your opponent until the end phase of the turn. So basically, what you would do with this card, it does nearly the same thing as Corruptorably, but like more specific. You can just give them a candle, and then you can go from there. So yeah, so Spy really good. Sorry for forgetting the name, but yeah, Spy is really good, and also Creature Swap. Again, that card works as well. This card isn't as good, but it's still pretty good. It still does has that utility. But yeah, that's it for like some of the decks you can run. For the most part, this is the deck that I prefer the most, and this is my favorite Blue Eyes Chaos Max list I've found. And this is actually the one that OTKs the most consistently, which is what I want from this deck. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.